Hello, everyone. Francisco, if we will discuss some topic after our new year about motivation and new ideas about our disciplines, how was your start of your project in our new year?
Yeah, it was good. I don't really I don't have that feeling of the passing year. For me, it's just a continuation. Okay, of course, midnight, yeah, New Year, but continues all the same. I don't have any of that lucky and bad luck stuff. No.
Yeah, I know that our Chinese colleagues will celebrate New Year this weekend, so we also can celebrate them.
Okay.
Hello, everyone. We'll wait a couple of minutes yet to give the opportunity to join us.
So Friday, here in Portugal, a lot of rain, a little bit cold, but the cold in Portugal is that it's different from other parts of Europe. 17 degrees, not bad.
Yeah, in
For
my
us, it's
location.
cold, but
Yeah, in my location, Georgia is 19 about. So we also feel this warm weather right now. Hello, hello. So I suppose that we can start because we will start with a little small intro and some points from my end, and later Francisco will start his webinar. So as we previously mentioned, we want to start our new year easily with new ideas, motivation, and habits. Therefore, today Francisco will hold a webinar where he will talk about some of his interesting projects and corresponding challenges, the BA role from a behavioral point of view, and a couple of good habits for any specialist. So, and all this will be mixed with a dose of humor, of course. So a couple of additional moments from my side. A recording will be provided after the presentation. You can send questions in the chat during the event, and we will read it at the end of our presentation. You can give thank you badges for our speakers, and also it's possible to put a rating on the event page. I will drop some links to our chat a little bit later. And one more interesting point from our end, we would like to start our new activity during the events. And at the end, the speaker will choose the most interesting and best question in his opinion. And the author of this question will receive a special badge from us, like a more curious person. So do not be shy to ask your questions, and you will have a chance to receive this special badge from us. And now I suppose that we can start our webinar. Francisca, you have the floor.
okay. Hello, everyone. So my presentation has a different title, a strange title: Business Analyst, Hard Work, Focus, Some Humor, and a Glass of Wine. Let's see what comes up from here. But first of all, I will introduce myself. My name is Francisco Reis. I'm from Portugal. I'm a business analyst a little bit more than 15 years now, and I have working in projects in security, alarm systems, banking, gas and oil, human resources, the Portuguese government, and others. So I am graduated in human resources management and also in strategic organization. And in my personal life, I am a Linux fan only as a user. Since I think 2006, I use always a Linux distro in my personal computer. I have nothing against Microsoft or Apple, but for me, I like Linux. I'm an amateur photographer, and I'm also an amateur writer. I don't have any book published yet, but we'll see. And I am a speaker for 10 years now. but it's the first time that I'm being a speaker at EPAM. It's the first time that I'm making a presentation like this to a screen from the computer and not a live audience. It's a little bit strange because I can see your cannot see your reactions, but okay, it's something new. And it is my first time to make a presentation in English, so 3 different things new for me this year. In this presentation, we talk a little bit about hard work and focus. Most of it will be just like a small talk to guide you to some points that I would like to stop and think a little bit. Imposter syndrome, what is really important, humor, seriously, work and life balance, and hopefully some conclusion to our day life and work. And what are we going to learn here? Honestly, nothing. This is not a technical presentation. I will not talk about waterfall or agile or BA book, nothing. Most of you have experience, and those who don't, you can find lectures and at EPAM or trainings on the internet. So this presentation is just to talk about some things and hopefully all of us, me included, think and maybe raise some flags and change some points in our daily life. Final warning before start. Sometimes when we look at a speaker, we kind of think that he knows everything and he's a specialist. Sometimes it's true, but don't look at me like this, okay? I am just an equal, and I'm far from having extraordinary knowledge. Sometimes it's the opposite. I realize that and I don't have knowledge in lots of things, and this is not a fake humble. This is not fishing hook humility. For those who don't know what is a fishing hook, humility is more or less what we see every day in social media when some people publish things to get some, receive some compliments. It's not the case. So look at me just like a talking parrot, someone with a little bit less of shame to come here and talk about some thoughts. So, business analyst role is a challenge, is a very demanding occupation. We have a lot to do, a lot to learn, the requirements, the gathering, the requirements, unrealistic requirements, sometimes changing, unclear. We have to do documentation, every one of us, manage the stakeholders, teamwork and discussions, and we have to be a specialist in that particular area. But for that, we have to study a lot, right? So it's important to have certifications, training, of course, be up to date, be curious like a child, and always looking for new things and to be up to date. Adapt the knowledge that we have on our trainings to our reality, to that specific project, for example, and learn. Basically, the business analyst role is a never-ending learning story. So I'm sure that most of you have similar experience like me. I just bring here the 3 of them to show that many times we start a new project in an area that we don't know nothing, and that is normal. So, for example, in my case, when I started working in prosegur alarms, I knew absolutely nothing about alarm systems, CCTVs, VPS tracking. It was from scratch. The same occurs to me in BNP Paribas. I didn't know nothing about banking, financial markets, stock markets, nothing. And one of the most challenging projects that I had, it was here in Portugal in a gas and oil project. I didn't know nothing about it. It was difficult. So we have to do an additional effort many and many times to understand the business, to be a better business analyst in that project. And right now, I invite you to store this idea, make the extra effort. Keep this idea because I will come back to this idea forward in the presentation. Is necessary? Here is make the extra effort. But in our daily basis, we have to have also focus. We have many things happening at the same time. The discovery, the stakeholders, the requirement gathering, delivery plan, scope, backlog managing manage time and our budget, tracking all the teams, etc., etc., etc. But sometimes this is not enough. Sometimes we are in a project and we are happy in that project. And in the next project, we are not so happy. Why is that? Sometimes we are an extreme valuable element in a project, and in the next project, it seems like we are a beginner in a business analyst. There are several reasons, but every project is a different project, of course. Have another specificities, different colleagues, different bosses, different stakeholders, and many times other way of working. Sometimes not everybody has correct knowledge about the BA role and what we do, what we can do, what we can help, and it may occur that our motivation starts to come down, and we don't want that, of course. So we have to have present that business analyst role, besides being a very demanding occupation, it's a huge scope. It's impossible to know everything. We have to have this in our head. It's completely impossible. And I like to see when I go to a new project, I like this to think like this. Imagine you are driving a car, so you have the windshield and the rear mirror. Let's imagine that the rear mirror, the image that you see is your knowledge, your experience, your training. That's the rear mirror. But the present and the future is this windshield. So we have to be always focused on the present and the future. The past is just a reference, okay? Doesn't mean that what we live, what we did in the past project works in this one. We have to go forward. So this is the permanent learning zone ahead and the permanent opportunity ahead. And in my point of view, it's good. But in the meanwhile, if we are in the project that we don't like it so much, what we can do? First of all, it's important that the imposter syndrome doesn't set in. We cannot do that kind of thinking of I'm not good enough, I can do this. No, keep this out. Not get discouraged, because many times a new project seems like a galaxy, and we have to learn everything to A to Z, and it's a huge theme to learn. It's scary sometimes, but remember, keep a cool head, study, adapt to the new reality, but not always. If the team doesn't know how a business analyst role really works, try to pass information and to the team other ways of working. And if nothing this works, do your best. Just be the best possible human being, the best possible professional, and be honest. Keep calm, because after this project, another one will come, and something better will come, I'm sure. But talking about the imposter syndrome, the problem is most of the time in our head, our beliefs. We think that this is what I know, and we think that this is what the others know. But the reality is not that. What we know is very similar to what the others know. So let's have this in mind all the time. Thoughts like, I'm not good enough, what I'm doing here, I'm not capable, I'm going to fail. This is a bad sign. Please be alert. And this is false for sure. Okay. And this kind of thoughts remember me a quote from a book. This is a very silly book, okay? Some of you may know this gentleman from the social media, but I buy the book. It's a silly book again, but there is a quote that when I read it, I remember that many times we do that to ourselves, and in the imposter syndrome. The quote is, don't let anyone ruin your day, ruin it yourself. Be a man. We have to stop this. We are nothing better, nothing more, and nothing less than the other ones, and we are capable to do things, everything. I will give you an example that occurs to me some years ago in a project of gas and oil. In this picture, what you see here, this is gas warehouses, okay? So inside a gas warehouse, we have liquid gas, and the liquid gas is easy to know the level, because we have sensors inside to see where is the liquid. The problem is, at any given moment in time, we have to know the totally of the gas inside, and the totally is the liquid plus the gas that is not liquid, is a vapor, gaseous, okay? So to do this calculation, the stakeholders inform me that is a book, STMD 121518, that have this information. So this book here is a big book, and is full of formulas, mathematica, chemistry. And I ask, okay, so in what chapter or what page can I find the information to do this calculation? No, you don't understand. You have to read all the book. All the book is the information that you need. In that moment, I assure you that I feel so small, so small, so small. And for the first time, this kind of thoughts came to my head. What I'm doing here, I'm not good enough to be a business analyst. I have to change my profession. Uh, I don't know. Only many things occurred to me, but unemployment was not an option, and I was lucky also with the team that I was working. So all the team get together, and we, as one, start working in this specific problem. And it was several weeks, difficult weeks, but in the end, what it seems unreachable, it was reachable with hard work and study, and it was done and well done. And it's curious because when I remember my projects that I had in these 15 years, most of the best memories are from the difficult projects like this one, and we learn always something more and more and more. And just for additional note, we discover in our work that the stakeholder was not right. The information we needed, it was not in this book. It was another norm, IP 20273, and mix it with another methods. So that kind of learning that we have, that the stakeholder can lead you to the wrong way. I forgot that in that moment, and I discovered it in the hardest way. We have to pay attention to this. Of course, we cannot be specialists and know everything, but we have to do an effort and learn every day a little more. So, if the syndrome, the imposter syndrome gets in, or if you know someone in your team or next to you that have this kind of thoughts, what can you do? First of all, we are at EPAM. Every one of us have passed for several moments in the recruitment process, and we have passed all these stages. And so something special we have to be. EPAM is a great company. It's and we are here, and nobody knows everything. So don't get affected by this kind of thought, bad thought. It's very important to split the feelings from the facts. The feelings that we think it's true, let's forget about the fact that matters. And don't remain in silence. Don't remain in silence in two different things. One, if you start to have this kind of thoughts, don't be in silence. Talk with somebody, your manager, your project manager, with a team member that you trust, or someone out of the company, but don't remain in silence. Send me an email. we can discuss this by Teams. And the other thing is, in the meetings, for instance, I sometimes do this. When we remain too much time in silence, hurting what the others are saying, the stakeholders or other team members, to build something in your head, there's a limit, okay? We have to be more active, because sometimes it's not true, but the others thinks that our silence is a sign of not knowing what we are talking about, or lack of knowledge, and recognize always the positives. If some of your colleagues have done a great job stamping a badge here in EPAM, take positive things out of mistakes and failures and everything that you know. But above all, think about what is really important. And right now, this presentation will become a little weird, prepare, but I think is important. This is out of scope, but I think is important to think about this. So what is really important? I have something to tell you. I have a hobby with that. Don't scare about it. I will explain myself. Seriously, I am a volunteer in a small group of persons with different areas. In common, we don't have, none of us have a religion, but we have a deeply respect for the beliefs of the others. And in this work of volunteer, we work mostly with people that are dealing with grief for losing someone from the family or someone close. And sometimes, much few times, but and since COVID zero doesn't occur right now, but maybe in the future again, we get access to some people that are in palliative cares, just to talk, or most of the time to listen. So in these years, what I have learned, and I have learned a lot in this work as a volunteer in this particular area, is that in palliative care, no one, but absolute no one, regrets have been a good person in this life. But more important is that the problems that all of us think we have in at work or at home or with friends, or they are not problem at all. A real problem is like what's happening now in Ukraine or in other parts of the world. That's a real problem. A real problem is a disease that the doctor takes you the hope and this is the end. That is a real problem. What we live day by day is, there are not problems and challenges. Is a little bit different. So let's think about this. Spoiler alert: we are all going to die. Okay, but we don't think about it. Or when we think about it, it's always 20 years from now or 50 years from now. But the truth is, it could happen in 5 minutes. So what do you want to do with your life? This to say what? I'm sorry about the dark theme, but it's true. Death is part of nature, okay? Work is important, yes, is very important, but is not all, okay? And if and when something goes less good, please, we have to try all the possible tactics to overcome that moment, but not let this moment become a problem, okay? How? We have several options here. I will show you some. One of them is humor. Some studies shows that humor in the work get better results. So why not? But even knowing this, how many of you usually laugh during work? Think about it. How many of you laugh at yourself? of your errors. And it's easy thing to do. I love this meme. As your father, I want you to clean up your room, so that make sure the user stories is correctly phrased. So using humor. Okay, this is important, but we have to be careful because not every team members or any culture appreciate this. But in the worst case scenario, you can do it yourself with your own mind. I will give you an example. Inside my head, most of the time is a cartoon, and I have fun. Imagine some things. And this is a way of turn heavy things a little bit lighter, okay? See life and work on the positive side. Always see the glass half full enough and not half empty. And if you see I am doing what? Commonplaces. But why am I talking about commonplaces? This is a little bit empty or not? I think not, because in this era that we are all living in, we cannot forget that depression and others similar problems are a growing reality, and we don't want that for our life, right? So this kind of problem sometimes starts with little things that we let them grow. We cannot do that. We have to be positive. Why did we, as a child, we laugh so much, and after an adult life, we almost doesn't laugh? It doesn't make sense, right? Why do we, as an adult, are so aggressive? Sometimes we start little wars in our work, in our friends, in traffic. Someone behind the wheel in the car, it's someone different in traffic and very nervous. Relax. So we have to have in mind that we make mistakes too. I make a lot of them, and I learn from them. We have to have the ability of laughing of ourselves. And this is not a synonymous of being irresponsible or bad professional. Please don't think like that. Skills like economy or engineering or management are very important skills, but humor is also important, and we look at him like he's a thing that is not very important, but it is. And just for fun, remember that technically the glass is always full, always, because part of the glass is water and the other is air. So laugh is good for our body and mind. When we laugh, endorphins are released, stimulated heart, stimulated lungs, stimulated the muscles. And this is important for our day-to-day life, in personal life, but in our work also. But if you think this is something for my head, it's not. I suggest that you read this book from Jennifer Acker and Naomi Bagdonas, Why Humor, Seriously, Why Humor is a Secret Weapon in Business and Life. You can find this book at Amazon, for example, or other bookstores. You have a TED Talk that you can search in YouTube about this theme, and also Talk Google, I think is the name, a very good one. So maybe it's because of this that I am a business analyst and not I don't go to psychology because I was in trouble. Other things, wine. I'm not saying that you should get drunk. It's not that. I don't want anyone to get alcoholic. No. Just for general knowledge, curiosity. Portugal, I live in Portugal, is the worldwide wine consumption per person, the most wine consumption in the world. We have excellent wines here. Of course, everyone knows the France wines and Italy wines and Argentina. Our wines are equally good, but their marketing is better than the marketing of Portugal. So why I am talking about wine? When I was in the university, I had a professor that used to say, to be a good manager, we just have to be calm and a glass of wine. Maybe this presentation is a little bit influenced by this professor. I am talking about this because after work, imagine a very hard day of work, okay? And in the evening, you can spoil yourself. Go to the kitchen, make a special dinner for you with a little bit, very little, okay, of wine, and talk with your partner, your wife, your husband, your friends, your family. Free your mind to other things. Be creative, okay? But there are more things. Pets. In my house, we have 2 cats and a dog. My wife likes a lot of animals, pets, but she prefers cats. I like cats also, but I prefer dogs. And my dog is a she. Is a very active. And every day I have to walk several kilometers with her because she demands. So every day I have to wake up 1 hour earlier to go walk with them 3-4 kilometers. Now she's asleep. And after dinner, she demands again, and I have to go walk again more 3 or 4 kilometers. And doesn't matter if it's winter, if it's summer, if it's raining, she demands. And sometimes I don't have, I don't want to go, but the truth is, it's good for me. I do exercise. I walk 6 to 8 kilometers every day, and in that time, I am thinking in other things that not work or something else. It's good for us. But you can arrange your solution, your perfect solution. Photography. I love this a lot also. I don't know, sports, yoga, go to the kitchen, cook, write. It's an infinite possibilities that all of us have. Take some sunlight. Again, talking about Portugal. This winter, not really, because we have a lot of rain here, but most of the time we have sun here. And this is the north of Portugal, and this is the south, Algarve. We have a lot of beaches and countryside also. And it's good when it's sun. It seems like the day changes for the better. If you have many clouds in your country, come here and we drink some wine at the sun. So all of this to talk about life and work balance, okay? And this is very important for our work. Let's see how. If you are drained, you cannot produce quality. It's impossible. So we have to take care of us to get to be a better professional, okay? Long hours of work are not signs of quality. Okay, it could happen, yeah, it occurs sometimes, but if it goes every day, something is wrong, okay? And you lose balance, and you start to be a lot of stress in you, and this is not good, and it's not good to your work. Additional effort is needed, yeah. Remember at the beginning of the presentation? Yes, and it happens all the time in all the projects that I am at the beginning. We have to do a little bit more effort to learn, but it's very important to setting boundaries, because the balance is the secret, okay? It's all about balance. In defining borders, I know this is not always possible. I know that. But if possible, let's not see work emails on message out of our working hours. Sometimes it's not possible. I know that. But let's try it. Organize our lives to have some personal life, to think in other things. Do not accept meetings out of your normal working day hours. I know, again, this is not always possible, but let's try it. And try not to think about work when you are off, okay? But do this with flexibility. An example, let's imagine that this weekend I am walking with my dog and comes an idea to something that is happening in the work. Okay, so we can take some notes about it. Don't be that rigid, but try to organize your life to be hours that is yours and your personal life hours, okay? But that is not enough. We have some distractions in the present days with some things that steal our life. For example, social media. I believe most of you don't use the social media during the work time. Okay, that is not the case. But I was for many years a very regular, intense user from social media. I was an account in the Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, you name it. And last year, I realized that in my personal life, I was taking too much hours in front of the screen, making scroll and making videos. And years ago, I did things that now I don't have time. Why is that? I used to read a lot. I used to do a lot of things with friends and family, and now I was looking to a screen. The suggestion is to manage your time with social media. You don't have to be so radical as I did. I eliminate all of them. I just have LinkedIn is a professional software app, of course, and I have WhatsApp and Telegram to stay in touch with my friends and my family and some colleagues of the past. And I have one blog where I write sometimes and put some photographs that I take, but nothing more. And suddenly I have time to read. I have time to a lot of things that I don't have, didn't have before in these last years. So disconnecting from professional email is not enough. Manage your time in that area too, because we all need quality time in our lives. and we don't want it wasted, right? So as a conclusion, of course, work hard, think fast. We have to develop our skills, increase knowledge, certifications, be up to date, be curious, all of that I was talking about in the beginning of the presentation. But let's not neglect rest. Balance in life is important, and the better your personal life is, the better you are in work. Okay, so today is Friday. Let's work hard the rest of the day, but go to the kitchen this weekend, bring some wine, be with your friends and family, pet your pets, read, please, have a hobby, and come back next week with the batteries recharged and with a new boost in your work. And that's it. I hope I was not too boring or annoying. And this is the presentation that I bring to all of us.
Thank you, Francisca, for your presentation. I suppose
Thank
that
you.
everyone can emphasize some beautiful and significant and interesting points from your presentation, and we'll use some practices in our regular BA's life. So I suppose that we have 30 minutes left and can start to read our questions and a lot of positive feedbacks. It's like a spoiler. So I see that you have a lot of interest outside business analysis, writing, talking, photos, Linux. How do you schedule your day to have time and strength for those things so that they doesn't affect our various and demanding BA work?
Yeah. Yeah, your family is a big help also, but you have to be organized. Remember when I talk about the social media? I am realizing now that the time that I lose seeing things that was not so good, it was telling me much time from that. Now I have time to write a little more. I have time to read. I have time to go and do some photography, and well, at the weekend, you always have some extra hour to do some posting in your blog, and maybe schedule. So imagine that you write three different posts, and one of them you publish immediately, and the other two you make a schedule. And imagine Wednesday you are working and something happens in your blog, and you not even remember, and you have something new there, and that's it. A little bit of organization is all you need.
Okay, thanks. Another question. For BAs who know nothing about the domain, on what basis are they selected for the project? Simply for exceptional BA skills, ability to learn, and etc. Perhaps it's more your opinion question, because we do not finally know about all these points.
Every case is a different case. In my case, I was in the right place at the right time. And it was good because I learned about different things. But I don't know if this is exactly like this with everybody. I imagine that it is, but I don't know for sure.
Okay, next question. Let me check. Make we ask to share a brief story about your most challenging project.
My most, sorry?
Yes. Can you share a brief story about your most challenging project?
Okay. Yes, I was in the a project some years ago to the government, Portuguese government. Here in Portugal, we have a database, a public database that works similar like a Dropbox, but it's a Dropbox from the state. So when you live in Portugal and have a Portuguese citizen card, if some estatal institution have the need to send you a document, or otherwise, if you have to send a document to that institution, instead of sending by mail or by email or something, or go to the physical store, we can log into that database, and you share the document with that particular estatal institution. And I am proud to, I've been working on that for some time, and it's curious because most of my projects were in companies. So when the release date arrives, it's for 200 people or 2,000 people, or here no, this for the whole country, 10 million. We are a small country, and it's nice to have been in that project, because every time it's needed to work with that, I remember I have a little bit of my work here.
Okay, thank you for your brief story. Did you suffer from imposter syndrome? If yes, how did you handle this?
Yes, I suffered that for a brief period of time in the project of gas and oil that I talk in this presentation. When they introduced me the ASTM, I don't know, I lost my my composure, my posture, and I thought, no, I don't belong here. This is not for me. I have to do other things, go work to a supermarket or something. And I really thought that I was not good enough. But luckily, I had a team with brilliant persons, and they helped me see it that was just in my head. And from that moment to till the present, sometimes a little bit of that thought comes, but oh, you are not belong here, go away. And I always see life to the positive side, always, always, always. Of course, sometimes projects are very, very hard, but we are not nothing nothing less that the other persons. We can do anything that we want.
Yes, and like a little continuation about what's the strategy for imposter syndrome? Fake it till you make it, or confidently admit to the client you are not experienced in this domain?
Well, my opinion, okay, this is my personal opinion. To the client, no, because I don't know. You have to if that happens, we have to talk inside the company, not with the client. And it's normal that we don't know that particular subject, but we learn. But we don't have much time. We learn what we can, and we go to try to figure it out on the internet or with other people that know that, become search for help inside EPAM. For example, we are such a large company. I'm sure that someone somewhere at EPAM already worked in a subject similar to this. We can ask for directions, and don't be afraid. It's normal. We sometimes feel that I don't know much about this, but when you finish the project, you will see that you learn a lot and you became better than at the beginning.
And I suppose our last question about this syndrome. Thank you for humor and inspiring presentation. Can you mention cases when imposter syndrome can bring positive effect?
Positive effect. Okay. Well, let me think. Maybe the fear of not being that good or not being good enough, it's so high that makes you work harder to get there, and you pass the scale, and that's a good sign. But I think it's better to get that point from another way that not the syndrome imposter. Okay.
Okay, so we have 4 minutes left, and I suppose that we have a couple of open questions, but I suggest that Francisco will answer you in our chat, not to waste our time. And also, as I previously mentioned in the beginning of our presentation, Francisco will choose the most interesting question, and we will give a special badge from our VA community. So also Francisco will choose this question, and we will announce this winner in our chat a little bit later. So thank you for your presentation, Francisca, and thank you all our attendees for your time, for your involvement. And I suppose that it was very interesting and significant presentation for you. And one more announcement from my end. You can give thank you badges for our speakers. You can find the link to this page in our chat. And from my end, have a great weekend and have a great rest of your day.
Thank you for the opportunity, and I hope to see you soon in a project at EPAM. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.